I don't know if the video even played today. I really don't. Okay, welcome to today's stream. It's 3 Prompt Tuesday. And as part of the exciting opportunities that got presented to us when, whenever any of us get downtime, I got a special guest that's joining me today. And I'm really excited. Oh, Chris says, yes, it played well. That's good. Okay, so I did video because it didn't show up for me. So it's Miriam. Hi, Miriam. And Frankly Mapleton, the man, the myth, the magic. Hi, Frank. How are you? Frank Salazar, everybody. Okay, so this is just today's page. I'll stick it up for a second there. It's based on the suggestion yesterday from Chris. It's what is it? It's Andre Rio's Winter Palace event. There's a snowball fight on it, but it has the special guests of Perry Como and Bing Crosby. It's a lot. So I think we got it. So that it's a fun suggestion. So this is the page. I started it yesterday in the stream. I drew it in mixed media on a modulated surface, and I'm going to do a little bit more of that monkeying about today too. But let me put this aside and welcome our very fantastic guest today. It's for those that haven't met Chris yet. This is Chris Kilue from Mexico, brilliant artist, and she's joining me again on the stream here for Chrisapalooza Part 2. Yeah. Hi, Chris. Welcome.
Hello. Welcome. Thank you. Thank you very much. Welcome, everybody in the chat.
Just got to switch my camera. Oh, there we go.
Here we are.
Yeah. I'm going to change my setup a little bit just so that hopefully it's going to fit better and take my face off. And nobody needs to see me. But yeah, it's exciting to have you. Like the last time that you were on the stream here with me, it was a lot of fun because I think that it was a great opportunity to talk about the needlepoint pieces that you're working on.
Yeah, the needle felting. Yeah.
Needle felting. Oh, sorry, thank you. And
I don't think I have them here, but go and check them out.
Okay, but since you did that, and since people are like, oh my goodness, take a look at this, you're selling a bunch of these things now. Now you're doing them and people are actively picking them up from you.
Yeah, that's right. I have already 2 orders. I have to make a cat and these wiener dog, I think that's the colloquial name. So I have most of them, I have most of them ready. They need color. But let me see if I can grab them. I have here one of my cats, just crazy because I'm talking alone.
Well, while you're looking for those, I'm going to pull up a couple things that are said. Frank is going to visit his son tomorrow. That's pretty awesome, Frank. Good to hear it. Corbin, just sit down. You can hear Corbin in the background carrying on. He's going to get Chris's cats all stirred up.
Yeah, that's right. I hope this one doesn't get crazy, but here's the cat, and it's almost ready to have color wool on top of it.
That's fantastic.
I just need the photos of my client to get to see the pattern and everything. And this is the Dachshund. I can't pronounce that one. That's why I go for
Wiener dog. It's a German word, right? It's Wiener dog is why we all call it Wiener dog for a reason, because Dachshund is not an easy word to say.
Yeah, that's right. And this one is in the process of getting color.
It's looking good.
I miss the ears and, of course, doing something else to the snout.
Nice.
So it gets pointy, but it's just a little bit of details. But
still, it's looking good. Yeah. And Miriam says, great cat and dog. And Frankly says, those look nice. Now, Frank's eldest son's birthday, what is it? He's visiting his son tomorrow. Miriam says it's her eldest son's birthday today. We got a lot of action going on over here. This is great.
Oh, happy
Nice.
birthday
Oh,
to your son, Miriam.
yeah, happy birthday. Happy birthday. My oldest just turned 32 on the 5th. So I'm ancient. Anyways, fun. It's fun. And I prefer celebrating other people's birthdays than my own.
Yeah, I think it's smart fun, you know. Yeah. You can suggest a party and then they can have the party at their houses and then you don't have to do any cleaning up in your own house.
Miriam
So,
said, "Yeah, that's a great point." Miriam said is turning 42. Well, happy birthday to. It's not Maxie, is it? Happy birthday to him anyhow. Frank's son is playing in a school concert tomorrow. That's why you're going to go see him. Nice job, buddy. Good dad. I love it. Is he going to do
great.
that? And you got to guess what that song is. Is he going to do one of those? Because I love that kind of concert.
That's
There's
nice.
there's there's a funny video about this young man who starts Jingle Bells on the trumpet, and then he gets through the first 8 bars, and then the group, the entirety of the school band joins in, and it's just this fantastic discordant mess. Like it's no one's playing the same notes, and
Oh my
I
God.
love it. That's so wonderful to me because those kids are going for it, you know.
Yeah.
And at the same time, Lori and I, there's a symphonia here in London that Lori and I like to attend their performances. So, okay, so we've got a couple things today. Frank says he probably is. Miriam is asking what instrument Frank's son plays. Okay, so before we get too far in, today is 3 Prompt Tuesday. So here's what we ask of people. If you have a 1-word, 2-word prompt, please feel free to put it in the chat if you're able to. And what we're going to do today is to just get crack-a-lackin'. And Chris and I are both going to take a shot at it. The same thing, because the wonderful joy about prompts and the wonderful joy about suggestions that people give is that it's whatever I do. And I'm
Okay, I have an intruder here.
That's okay. Take a look at who I've been holding back off of the camera.
Yeah, I've been doing the same.
Corbin is sitting on my lap this entire time as well. And it's like, buddy, stand. And I'm just holding him down. And then your cat appears. I'm like, forget it. Let it go.
Yeah, no, she just climbed up.
And that's something. If you want to make a suggestion for a 1-word prompt, please do. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. The wonderful thing about it is any two people that do the same suggestion, it's not going to be the same thing. It's going to be interpreted through all your experiences and skill sets, etc. So
Yeah.
it's wonderful. I think that's a wonderful thing. So I celebrate that. I am Corbin likes this sound.
Oh, okay.
See it? What is
Yeah.
that?
Let me have that.
If I ball
Yeah.
this up, this piece of tape, I'll make it a
I
little
don't
bit
have
bigger.
Nico here because he just goes mad if I stream and I let him in. But I have his visual representation in progress.
Oh, there we go. Wonderful. Okay, you ready? Oh, that didn't go far at all. I'm sorry, pal. There it goes. And he's off down the hall. There we are. He's going to be beating up tape in the studio here for the next 10 minutes. Okay, so we've got some suggestions coming in. Muriel's got raining cats and cats, which is what a fun expression that is. Give me a second to write these down. So we've got raining. Hi, Maxie. Cats.
Yeah. Hi, Maxie.
Cats. And then Frankly has said, Maxie, if you've got a 1-word suggestion for today, let us know. And if anybody that's in the stream wants to work on a 1-page story or an image, like a singular image or whatever it is that they want to do from these 3-word prompts, please feel free to do so. And if you want to send it to me, and my contact stuff's all down below. Chris's contacts are down below. And I'd love to see him. We'd love to see him.
Yeah,
Okay,
very
frankly, it
well.
said clarinet wedding space. There's 3.
Interesting.
And I think that's what we got so far. So let's wait till if we get one more in a minute. But in the meantime, we'll count on. You can use any of these. How's that? Any combination of 3 of these, Chris? How's that sound?
I think it's going to be challenging. Not the first time that I'm playing prompts. I did that with Miriam, and it was quite interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's still a kind of difficult sometimes to think about prompts. What am I going to do? So,
hi, Dan.
kind of thinking.
One of the things that I've done before, and hold on a second, I'll grab a piece of paper. One of the things that I've done before on the stream here is that I grab the sheet of paper and I'll take the words, and then I'll sit down with clarinet wedding. Dan, you're welcome to make a one-word suggestion today and to take part in the process of it. And so what I'll do is I'll sit down and I'll break down what possibly can I do from those. And, that's one thing that I tend to think helps me out. But I always suggest that just start drawing an image. Raining cats and cats is that's a fantastic opener. There's your first thing, is drawing a number of cats raining down from the sky.
Yeah.
But
let me see if I can put this so it doesn't bother me.
Anyways, it's a fun kind of a perspective to look at it from. I find to do it that way because that sort of liberates me from getting bogged down in, okay, what will I do? Well, here's raining cats is a suggestion. So why don't I start there? Or I'll just take any one of the suggested ideas. Like, I think that what I'm going to start with is a clarinet. And I'm still going to try to incorporate the other aspects of it. Okay, here's our third one, is hippity hop. Remember the toy from the 60s, 70s? No, but I like the term, hippity hop.
Trying to see if I use a ruler.
Okay, so there's the stuff. Frank is rolling on his floor. Oh my goodness. Rolf. He thought it was Rolf. I'm Rolf.
Okay.
That's funny. Okay, so I think I got a starting idea. But so what I'm working on today. What are you working on today? What's your surface?
This is a recycled paper that I think I'm going to use for sketching. Yeah. But then I might go to watercolor paper and use either watercolor or Inktense pencils.
Oh yeah, this Inktense. I do need to look into that.
Oh yeah, I have here some that you're going to like them.
I'm a little bit like a kid in a kid who's been given money for the candy store because Lori. This is a really cute story, and Lori might be like, Christopher, but she was at her mom's house last night, watching her brother's musical performance. He was playing piano for an event at the place that he lives, and so they were watching it online because unfortunately they can't have everybody there yet because it's a place where a lot of people are vulnerable and at risk. So anyhow, while she's at her mom's, her mom gives her, this little bit of birthday money. And she goes, what's this for? Thanks. But my birthday was in September. And she goes, it's for Christopher. because they just had my birthday.
So a bit of misunderstanding there.
Lori's like, I just thought it was for me. And I'm like, geez, Lori, stealing my birthday money. She didn't mean it like that, but it's just funny.
Yeah, I'm going to show you how the inkdents work.
Sure.
But I'm trying to do something with the wedding space. So I'm
You're
not
trying to
sure
do something like what?
what to do. I don't know if I'll be able to draw a clarinet, but at least some small figures of somebody getting married on floating platforms.
There you go.
Okay.
Oh, I like the idea that it's. Oh, I moved it out of camera. I like the idea that the suggestions are
I'm going to make them close. I get to see that.
the raining cats and cats, the clarinet wedding space. Like it's the clarinet playing at a wedding in outer space. Like is one way you could look at that, like immediately. Dan says, "Oh yeah, I have a husband." There we go. What is? I don't know what I said, but oh, I wonder if that means that Dan has
The
done that
money.
too.
Yeah. I think he's referring to the money. It's like maybe she was planning to keep the money, like saying, "Oh,
Oh yeah, of course. He's like as the Lori had said it. Oh yeah, she didn't mean anything by it. I'm just being a silly person, but it's just cute, Gotta tease each other whenever we get those moments of just fun jest. But
this money or
hey,
something like that." It's like, "Oh yeah, gonna spend on something."
free money. I'm gonna go and get some more books to tell Dee Dee about. Like Dee Dee and Lori are telling. Here's another funny thing that happened recently is that Dee Dee popped in here at the stream. Dee Dee Willingham, for those that might not know her, and if you don't, go check out her channel. But Lori had also popped in the stream, and Dee Dee is asking Lori if she's read a certain book because they read the same kind of books. And it is funny because literally Lori had just said the day before that I'm going to ask Dee Dee if she's read this book. It's the same book, and it's
Oh
and it's
my
not
god!
it's not like it's a brand new book. It's like I read this book years ago. Have you read this?
That's the scary part, right?
Just randomly thought of the same book at the same time. Okay, so I'm going to be a little silly on today's suggestion. I'm going to start with this clarinet, and I hope that this will turn out. So this is a pencil for this you use on a building site. I like drawing with these because there's this broad flat part of it, and because my hands are like this, sometimes I have challenges with holding on to skinny little pencils, and I like using these. I prefer using these sometimes. So please forgive my weirdo pencil. But
it looks fine. My dad used to have some of those pencils as he liked to do some woodwork. So he built like cabinets, small little furniture, something.
Oh, wonderful.
So I always thought that those pencils were so cool.
Yeah. You can go to a hardware store and you can buy, like, for $10 Canadian, you can get a dozen of these in a sharpener. They have the coolest. Hold on, I'll show you this. How do you sharpen a flat pencil? Right?
I'll use a knife, no?
So here, with a knife, but I have a pencil sharpener for it.
Oh, no. That's so cool.
How great is this? And, it's not just the sharpener part. See right here? There's just a fine
you can
point.
sand it.
Sand your tip. Isn't that great?
Yeah, it's so great.
But this is the sharpener, and it doesn't care about where the wood part goes because it figures you're on a job site anyways. But yeah, I bought the bulk pack that came with a sharpener of its own. So Frank says he has a pencil sharpener too. Good, man. Have I read The Joy of Maple? No, I have not, sir. Maybe I should. If it's not a real book, I'll make sure it becomes one. Good for you. Yeah, so these are great. I've got a number of them. They last forever, and I bought a dozen, and I really enjoy using them. They just for me make some sense. Really.
I think my dad doesn't have his pencils anymore, so.
Well, I bought
But I'll try to
the
go and find them.
I bought these recently. Yeah, see if you can find them and seeing if they're kicking
Yeah.
around. That's for sure. I bought these ones recently, but I I had one that I used in the last year when because uh, I put the second floor on our place and built like my where my studio is now, and like I finished the second floor of our house, and then the start of all that in 2021, just after the lockdown stuff all ended here in Canada, I
Mm-hmm.
renovated the main floor of our house.
Okay.
Miriam says, besides the cats, please tell me the prompts. I'm sorry, Miriam, I should have typed it up. Okay, we've got raining cats and cats. And then we've got clarinet, wedding, and space. And then our third one is hippity hop. Oh, I know who hippity hop is now. So there's the suggestions that are thrown out. Feel free, anybody, to use any combination of these to take a swing at doing.
Yeah, the interpretation. It would be cool.
Yeah, I think so. Did Dr. Ruth offer that book? And Dan says, I won't let her near my maple. Why don't you want her to touch your maple? Anyways, there you go. A Dr. Ruth impression. Who'd have thunk it, huh? Do you remember Dr. Ruth, Chris?
I'm trying to remember if.
Dr. Ruth
But I
Westheimer.
cannot recall.
What's that?
I cannot recall. It was a TV show?
Well, Dr. Ruth Westheimer used to be on all kinds of things like the Phil Donahue show and stuff like that in the 1980s. And she was a sex therapist. And so she was often talking about, changes to the norm of expectation of sex in society. And she used to speak to the sexual liberation and the idea of empowerment for individuals in exploring their interests, in physical engagement with others. Like she was very, she's a bit of a shock and awe person back at the time. And when you think about how she spoke and what she spoke of, it's so tame by today's standards. And
Okay.
but she was this fantastic little German lady, and she's Dr. Ruth Westheimer, and she's like, why are you afraid of sex? Like it was just.
Oh my God. I think she was never displayed in Mexico TV or something like that. It was probably.
Maybe not. But she used to appear on talk shows like Phil Donahue and maybe Oprah when she started. I'm not sure, but she's just a fantastically funny character because she's like 5 feet tall and very, very confronting. Like just, when is the last time you made love to your wife? And, you could just see people just squirming in their chairs in the studio that she's in, asking these people the questions in the studio. So
Yeah,
Frank says that
I don't recall them.
What's that?
Yeah, I don't recall her in any of the shows that I watch. I remember watching This guy that everybody fought in his program. It was not
Oh, is
Dr.
that the
Phil, but
Jerry
another
Springer
one.
guy?
Yeah, and there was another one with a
There's
mustache and black
more.
hair.
There's a Morton
Yeah.
Downey guy.
And then I remember Oprah, yeah, some shows, but I didn't like her that much.
No, I've never liked Oprah. I always joke and say that Oprah's the devil because, well, for one, she's incredibly phony, but the just the whole cult of personality of Oprah and Channel and the magazine, and I'm like, she's got to be the Antichrist.
Yeah, it was too overwhelming. And sometimes her shows were like just too exaggerated for me. So,
All the time, I think. But she was also one to push a narrative too. And if anybody's a huge Oprah fan, I'm just going to apologize to you. But she just pushed that narrative, and then she would backpedal on it. Like she was a real big Lance Armstrong, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then she had him on the show and tried to guilt shame him for his antics of taking drugs and competing, and it was I don't know, just such hypocrisy, I think.
yeah.
So,
I remember
God,
Jerry Springer, yeah.
oh yeah, that
And
guy was a
later on, they started copying some of those formats, like talk shows with fights, and there were actors, of course. And it was just so crazy here in Mexico to see those formats
oh,
with
they're nuts.
actors
We're
hitting each
not looking
other.
at
And
you're not looking at well balanced individuals on any level.
yeah,
Like it's just sort
it
of
was not
playing to
nice.
like the lowest mindset, right? Just too bad.
Yeah. Dan says that it's pronounced okra instead of opera.
Nice one, Dan.
Oh my god.
That's one of those things that you can have with dinner.
Yeah. But it doesn't sound tasty, you know?
Okra has never sounded like something like, sign me up for some of that. What's that?
Yeah, that's right. It's like, doesn't sound. I prefer oatmeal. Sounds nicer.
Yeah.
I'm trying
I,
to see if I can find.
we had a thing here in Canada called shredded wheat. We still do, but, and there was when I was a kid, they used to have no name, low cost alternate brands of some of the popular morning cereals,
Mm-hmm.
and like puffed wheat. It was basically it's just wheat that has been there's air. It's been aerated as it's been baked, and then you eat it in a bowl. It's things like that are they're kind of very Canadian things, and I can't find any of these things anymore. Like the shredded wheat are all flavors now, and it's like all the really basic cereals that were around when I was a kid are just gone. So
Oh yeah, it's a lot of processed food. It doesn't taste the same. Let me show you something that they are doing here in Mexico, supposedly to ask people to have a healthy diet. Of course, it's going to be in Spanish, but these are like fries, like Lay's or
yeah,
um, chips, something like that. And they have these seals. So the more seals, the more dangerous it's for you. So
the more
excess
dangerous it is.
salt, excess fat, excess calories.
Oh
But
wow.
so you kind of go and know if you're going to buy or a big one of these or small ones. So this is a small one.
Well, you say that because you're conscientious. Other people say that and they're like, I know how many warnings are on there. I don't care. I'm
Exactly,
eating
that's
it
what's going on.
anyways.
Other people don't care anymore. They
I'm
say,
eating
no,
this
I
anyway.
like it.
Yeah, that's it. Eh? There's there's a thing that we did here in Canada for Dan says, I remember those huge bags of puffed wheat. How my aunt and uncle fed their 5 boys. Oh yeah, puffed wheat was great. There was a thing here in Canada that when they started really promoting that people stop smoking,
Mm.
and they would put warnings on the packages of like photographs with statements like, and like the photographs of like you can get mouth cancer, and here's a picture of somebody's mouth cancer.
Oh my God. Oh,
Like there
that.
wasn't an ounce of subtlety to it. You can have this happen to your lungs, and it's like, oh, not
Oh,
even
that's so
playing around,
shocking.
not even playing at all. Just look at how much do you like this? Quit smoking. And it was on right on the outside of every different. There was different warnings and on each pack, and it's like it's almost like at the beginning you could like collect them, but after a while, there's just no way you could ignore the fact that nothing about this is healthy. How much more clear that can they make it for you?
Yeah. But sometimes the kind of food that people choose becomes an addiction,
Oh, sure it
and
is.
sugar is an addiction. So it's really hard to break that addiction if you have had it all your life.
Well, I smoked for 27 years, and I had,
Fun.
I've quit for years, but for a long time now. But I started smoking at 12, and my father-in-law, he smoked for 69 when he finally quit.
Wow.
Yeah, and that does damage to you. It sure does. But thankfully, I haven't seen any long-lasting damage for the time I smoked. But
Yeah.
it's tough. It's you can't help it. You're compelled to do it, and it makes it difficult to just give it up.
Hmm. It is. My dad smoked for, I don't remember if it's quite a long time, but he quit when I was really, really young because he started jogging and running as kind of an
Yeah.
exercise. And then he discovered that he was not performing very well, that he was out of breath and
Oh
things
boy.
like that. And then from one day to the next, he just quit.
Yeah. Well, that's you have to. That's how I quit. Dan says that he remembers the same thing on smokes from England. Are you in England now, Dan? Or because it was puffed wheat a thing in England, or were you in Canada at the time? And then Miriam says I started smoking at 14 and quit some years ago. Yeah, it's good. I'm really glad that when people quit, but there's no part of me that's like you should quit smoking to other people because I uh, I think if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. It's got nothing to do with me negative about it. But I'm always happy to hear when people have quit. I still say I'm a smoker, and the reason that when I identify that yeah, I want to smoke. I still, if I walk by the smell of somebody smoking, there's a part of me that's like, cigarettes,
Mm.
and it's a silly way to associate, but I do. Just keeps me conscious of not smoking. Makes me remember and
Yeah.
remind myself, don't do that. But I know that I still have the habit for it. I know that's a little objective. It's a little Ryandian. Uh,
My mom
Dan says,
smoked
no,
for,
I'm a PNW kid. What's a
okay.
PNW kid, Dan?
Yeah, he has to explain.
I am absolutely no good at anagrams at all. Frank says, I smoke hams and salmon.
Hmm.
Salmon is one of those words that uh, for
I got
a lot of English second language people,
it. Mm-hmm.
and even for a lot of English first language people, I can't tell you how many people I've heard pronounce salmon as salmon.
Hmm.
it's,
I'm
it's
probably
just
pronouncing it wrong. So,
it's salmon, but there's so many people that call it salmon, it's just you just sort of look at them and go, all right.
Yeah, maybe it's because it comes from Chile, maybe, and not from Norway. They can
Maybe.
argument that.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Well, here we get both. We get the one that is, it says cultivated. I don't know why it says cultivated. I'm talking about Spanish because that's what they say in the package.
Yeah.
Cultivado. I was like, what? But I suppose
Cultivated
are the
salmon.
farms that they have. And we also get the Norwegian cod, but I don't like it. And salmon. I cannot pronounce it, but I'm going to say salmon. But salmon. It sounds like with an E. But anyway.
It sounds like it should be that, but that's the funny thing about because English is so rooted in so many other language influences. It's another Latin language, but because it's so influenced by so many different ones that there's some strange pronunciations on things.
It is.
Well, see, I said pronunciation. Oh, Pacific Northwest. Dan says it. He's a Pacific
Okay.
Northwest kid. I grew up with kids in 6th grade chewing Copenhagen in Montana. Oh my gosh. Chewing tobacco. Good stuff. You know, do you have chewing tobacco there in Mexico, Chris?
I think yes. I think it's especially the south. I think the south peninsula in Yucatan,
Yeah.
they have got a lot of uh, tobacco crops or factories,
Yeah.
whatever. And apart from cocoa and chocolate, so that's what they have. I would rather go to a factory of uh, cacao and chocolate or something like that. But yeah, I think they do. But no, I don't like very much the smell of cigarettes or things like that.
Yeah.
My grandfather used to smoke cigars.
Oh,
That
yeah.
was that was really awful. He quit after some time, but I remember early childhood years, the smell, and it's disgusting. Cigar is disgusting.
Is that right? When my wife and I met, I was still smoking menthol cigarettes, and I quit about 6 months into us dating, and she never knew I smoked
Oh,
because I hate
okay.
the smell of smoking so much that I was always brushing my teeth, and I would smoke a mentholated cigarette, and and I always made sure to where the wind was so that my smoke
Hmm.
wasn't all over my clothes. Dan did a quote here of makes the girls smoking makes the girls come running running away for the boys.
I
Okay,
think I smoked only a month in my life because I
is
wanted
that
to
right?
experiment it.
Oh, sure. All the
And
cool
but I
kids are
was
doing it.
already like 17, 18, more or less.
Yeah,
So I could kind of officially buy cigarettes at the store at the age 18.
nice.
So I asked my mom because my mom was a smoker and she smoked all her life, like, how do I do this? And she
Mom,
taught
teach
me
me how to smoke.
how to smoke, how to do this. And she was not the perfect teacher, but I was like, okay, I think I got it. And it started like kind of a fashion to be trendy with
Yep.
the group of people that you are with. But then you're going to laugh why I quit. Because once, and I was a teenager in the 80s.
Yeah.
So I'm talking about 1988, 1989, that I was around 18.
Yeah.
I was lighting a cigarette. And with all the heavy spray that I had on my
Oh
hair, I
no.
burned
Oh
my
no.
hair. So I said,
No.
no more cigarettes for me. I prefer my
That's so
hair.
common. So did you have the haircut? Did you have the haircut that with the bangs that you could bounce a coin off of? Did you have that?
I have so many crazy hairdos from
Oh
those
no.
times. We had here all the complete sprays, and I remember a very blue liquid, like kind of this blue,
Yeah.
that it was called supper punk.
Oh yeah.
You could not take that thing off your hair without washing it with hot water. So
A good friend of
your
mine.
hairdo could last 3 days if you wanted to use
Oh,
that.
wonderful. A good friend of mine. She had a 3 foot tall mohawk,
Oh my.
and she was 5'5", so she could get through doorways. That would be a look I could never have pulled off because of my height. But I'd never be able to get anywhere without just crouching over all the time. And but it was so interesting to me, her crazy mohawk hair, and then it was bright red at one point. She went on to become a
Those were brave.
hairdresser. But
Mhm. Those were brave haircuts, definitely.
Miriam says my eldest son was totally against it. So when I was visiting Argentina, I did the same as you. Never knew, and he never knew I was still smoking. Yeah, it's the I quit though because I knew that it wasn't something that she was a fan of, and and I oh yeah, I'll quit, but then I really couldn't quit, and until I just finally made the concrete decision of yeah, I gotta stop doing this. So because it's addictive, and you know, if you're getting addicted to that, there's probably a great susceptibility for you to get addicted to other things.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
But I started smoking at first because it was cool, which is so
Exactly.
foolish.
I thought it was cool until I burnt my hair, so so I was like, not anymore.
I probably burnt my hair, but I don't know if that would have stopped me. I'm kind of a bonehead.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember the hairdos that I had in the 80s. I
Well,
was
the '80s were a
very
funny time, right?
into. You probably remember these two singers. I was in a certain period of time. I was a fan of Sheena Easton,
Sheena Easton, there you go.
so I wanted that haircut so bad.
Is that
And
right?
then yeah, and then I was a fan of Pat Benatar,
Oh yeah,
so I also had that haircut. But the
nice.
one that I have, I think, for a year, it was Bonnie Tyler.
Oh, I love Bonnie Tyler.
So I remember Total Eclipse of the Heart and
Yeah,
the Hero song and all those. I was like, yeah, this is so cool. I
all
even
those great
had
'80s epics.
Burn, which
Turn around.
yeah.
We used to have
Have
a
you
thing
seen the
here.
dogs? Have you seen the dogs being walked around with that song on
Oh
the
my
Alexa
God.
or something like that? They put the song, and the moment they sing "Turn Around," the dog literally turns around.
Oh my goodness.
I was really laughing last night watching those videos. The
Dan
poor
said
dog.
that '80s hair gel is against the Geneva Convention now.
It should be. Oh,
Yeah,
that thing, super punk. Really, it was just. You
'80s,
had you
'80s.
had to really comb your hair really fast because that thing got very, very hard in less than 10 minutes. So
Well,
you couldn't move it.
I had long hair. Um, I've always been a long hair guy, but because my hair is it's really fine and it's naturally curly, there's not a lot I could do with my hair. Like I couldn't do the whole Duran Duran, looks or any of that stuff from the '80s because
Okay.
I didn't have the right hair for it. And at the same time, many of my friends were punk rockers and they'd have their hair all spiked and stuff like that. My hair wouldn't do that either. So,
Yeah, the hair of the bands like Duran Duran or Aha or any of those kind of the glam rock bands.
yeah.
That was so cool to see in those times, and then you get to see them right now, and you're like, oh my god.
we're all getting older. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
the whole curly, long-haired looking, feathered looking thing. That's just the natural setting that my hair was. So I never had a problem with that part. But it was the straight, sweeping haircuts. I couldn't do those. Miriam says, I've already got my one page done in pencil. Nice, Miriam.
Miriam, you work really, really fast. I'm
Well, it's all how
always
you do. It's all how you do your
always
process, right? Like
amazed.
Miriam lays out the entirety of it first. Like she'll do a layout of it, which is a really great way to go.
Yeah, I did a small sketch, but it was not necessarily that detailed. Let me try and show it on camera. So,
You want me to switch? Let me switch the. Hold on. There we go.
so that's
Oh,
more or
that's
less
lovely.
detail. So I have the moon, the earth, the wedding in space. This is going to be the Pope,
Oh, that's
the
great.
bride and the groom, each one in a floating capsule, and some guests, because it's expensive to get married in space.
Oh,
So
it sure is. It sure is. That looks really good. Miriam says cool, and
yeah,
also
and
says that she.
now I'm doing the transition up to the watercolor paper.
So here's where I'm at so far. The first panel is in, and and I'm
Nice.
and I'm moving across into the second panel now, where it's the couple with the bride and the groom dancing and doing the photo shoot outside after the service, and so I'm just putting in some foliage and stuff, and then I'm just having that overlap into the first panel. And I thought that what I would do is just have the narrative just continue through, all interconnected, and have no panels today. So, but I
Yeah.
thought for whatever reason that I'd open the whole thing with the clear, like just imagine the visual of the clarinet going,
Yeah.
little Kenny G to bring us into the wedding. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
But yeah,
Talking a bit about glam rock. I have a friend who recently, I think like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, we were still at school. He told me, I'm going to go to this Corona, that is Crown Corona Festival that is in Mexico City, and they invite bands, right? Like
yeah.
trendy bands, old bands. And he told me, oh, The Cure is going to be there. And I'm
Oh my.
like, great, but I really don't want to see that guy like 30 years later. And then he showed me a photo. Oh my God. It's like, imagine oh my, this is going to sound horrible, but like an old lady with very messy hair and
Oh,
overweight.
Robert Smith. Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So I was like, I wouldn't pay to go and watch that. I'm sorry.
Do you remember Guns N' Roses from the 1990s?
Oh yes, I went to a
Okay.
concert. I went to a concert here in Mexico, and it was so cool.
Well, look at photos of Axl Rose today, because he looks like he looks like someone's Aunt Marjorie. Like
Oh my God, no.
he looks like
Oh,
the tough talking aunt with her sleeves rolled up, and your kids ought to go outside and play. He looks like that aunt, and it's like he toured
I
with
think that yeah,
AC/DC.
some artists just need to know when to retire, and I'm not going to talk about a lot of artists, but I'm going to give you an example of what happened here in Mexico when you have you remember bands like New Kids on the Block and Backstreet Boys and all that kind of
Oh yeah,
fad.
my oldest used to love those. So
Well, they copied the formula here in Mexico, like with band
but they
boy,
no
like
no
boy
hold on.
bands
You
and
started
big.
you started the formula. Mexico started that formula
Oh,
because
really?
Menudo predates everybody.
Oh, well, yeah. I was still very young when Menudo was like
But
glamorous. But
Menudo started long before anybody else did.
yeah,
They were
yeah,
kind
you're
of
right. You're right.
they were really a
Definitely.
really early one, that's for sure. And then there's bands like the Monkees. The Monkees were, there was a call for musicians for the Monkees to come together, and so they were kind of a put together group, but they could all play instruments. The difference with guys like Menudo and Backstreet Boys and New Kids on the Block and all that is that they just sang.
Yeah.
So
Well, let me tell you about these bands. But this was in the 90s, more or less.
yeah,
So we got a lot of bands like that style of New Kids on the Block, Backstreet Boys. And now, 2023, they are having the Mexican tour of the Reconnection, the Reencounter tour.
oh
I mean,
no,
these are people my age, Christopher, 50 something, dancing like if they were 18. Oh, give me a break.
yeah,
No,
but they
no,
need the
no.
money. They need the
Yeah, they
money.
need the money. Yes, I know, but it's so ridiculous.
Oh
I get
sure,
to see videos of them dancing at the concerts, and I'm like, oh, people are paying for that.
yeah,
The poor. There was a guy. There was a very popular band here that was called Timbiriche,
yeah,
and they started when they were kids. And one of the biggest hits was to put up Grease, that in Mexico it was called Vaselina.
yeah.
And that was a great hit. I mean, live concerts, but we were kids, we were teenagers. Talking about the 80s again. They are already they started this year with another setup of Grease. And this guy who is probably 53, 55 or something, is a little bit older than me. He was doing a stunt where he's supposed to lie on his knees and then jump to get up. He
Yeah.
couldn't do it. He just fell
Oh
backwards.
no! Oh no!
So
Oh, that poor guy.
that was really, really bad. I
Yeah,
don't know.
that would be.
I
There's
don't know if I can place the clarinet here somewhere, but
well, yeah, but you don't have to do all of them, right? Like you've got choose three from Raining Cats and Cats, Clarinet, Wedding, Space. You've got Space and Wedding already, and then there's the Hippity Hop Bunny that you could probably look up online,
yeah.
or
Okay.
just incorporate the term hippity hop.
I'm ready to show you the ink pens.
I'm sorry. You know what? I apologize, Chris. This entire time it's been stuck on my thing. I'm so apologetic for that. I didn't realize I'd
Oh,
done that.
don't worry. I was not really doing something
I, I looked over at the screen.
interesting.
I'm like, oh, I want to
Oh,
see them, and then I'm like, why is it just me? Dumb. I'm so sorry for that. My apologies.
okay. Well, these pencils are, well, they're not just pencils, they also come like in watercolors.
Yeah,
And I normally recommend the people who want to experiment with a new material to buy the 12 um, pencil set. But this
yeah.
one is not really that good. I think that this time you have to start with a 24 set. This
Oh,
is
okay.
how it looks dry. And the moment you activate it with water, it just is an explosion of color. The
Wow.
problem with the 12 color set is that it doesn't have a violet.
Oh, I
And
see.
I think that's a very nice color to have. But you can buy these sets on Amazon. Local stores probably have to ask in your local craft or artist store, but you can also buy them in pans like this. So if you're
That's
more familiar with watercolors, this is going to be something that you're going to like.
they're really nice.
Yeah,
They're really
I
nice.
laminated
That's
the
good thinking.
sample,
That's
so
good
no
thinking.
problem. And they last for like ages. This
Good.
set is like 20 years old. It's
Oh
one of the
my.
first I got. And like 2 years ago, I went crazy and I say, I love this pencil so much that I literally went crazy and got the
Oh
72 set.
yeah.
But guess what? There is a new set with 100.
Oh, of course there is. There's always going to be more, right?
Yeah, so I did my swatching, not as beautiful as Janet's, right?
No, well,
But I mean,
Janet uses a ruler.
yeah, that's right. She will ask me to do boxes and use a ruler or something like that, but not really. But this is the complete one. So yeah, my student has
Dan
their
says I
one
have
pastel.
those.
Yeah, these are so good. Well, the trays are very flimsy. They're not very nice, but you get the double tray, and it's just really cool to have. So if you're going to use your Christmas money,
Well,
probably
that's my
the
birthday money.
24, yeah, probably
I
the
just
24 or the 36 set will be good for you to start.
so
And
do you
later you
know
can add pencils.
so do you know what I'm thinking of picking up?
Tell
Is
me.
there's a device that it's like a um, thank you for showing me those, by the way. That was great.
Yeah.
There's a device, and it's a palm type thing, or it's like a square, or just a sort of palm shape, and it has X amount of buttons on it, 4, 6, 9, whatever,
Hmm.
and you can pre-program it. So, like for the OBS studio, I could program it so I could just go touch a button and it would switch cameras, or touch a button and it would, do
Wow.
things like that for me. And then if I program it in Photoshop, then I could have it, I click a button and it makes something larger, smaller, or switches the brush or whatever else. And I find that really compelling. So I think I might look into that.
Yeah.
And, but I get some birthday money.
I'm trying to put everything here on the screen. As this is a space, I don't know what I'm
Hold on, let
doing.
me see. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, both. We look bigger. Oh, that's great.
Should have done that before. What am I doing?
I'm trying to think. Oh, you're going to laugh. What I'm going to do right now? I'm going to show you.
Okay.
This pigment is so valuable because, well, for me, every material is expensive because it's imported. So
Sure.
whatever comes to Mexico, it's expensive. So I was sharpening. Um, Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, I was sharpening this poor little color, ink black,
Yeah.
and the terror, the tip broke.
Oh, yeah.
And I
The
was like,
terror.
oh, this is so valuable. It's so expensive. I hear it where I am. In Mexico City, I can get individually, but not where I am in Querétaro. There are no stores. So I saved the tip in a small little box.
That's great. Do you have a okay, so you know how there is this kind of a pen holder, right?
Yeah.
Like this kind of a pencil holder so you can keep it going with their small pencils. Do you know that the like you have those lead holders where you
Mm-hmm.
slide the lead down the chamber? And
Yeah, I have seen them.
I have bought those in the past specifically to use for little broken pieces of lead from pencils.
I need to get
It's
some of those.
like,
I
have
have
you ever
seen
done
them.
silver point?
Not really.
Silver point is where you take a thin little piece of silver, like a little wire piece of silver, and you put it into one of those things, a lead holder like that, and you take a piece of board, you prime it, you sand it, you prime it, you sand it, and then you take the silver
Okay.
point and you draw on it, and it looks like you're just sort of scratching at the surface with like a 4H pencil or something like that. But when it oxidizes, it turns all kinds of fantastic colors in your drawing.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be
And Dan
cool.
says there are special sharpeners for those chroma flows. And Dan saves them too. See, you're not alone.
Yeah. And I
You're
and
now
I
you're
do
not alone.
this.
Oh yeah,
I,
that
I
works.
use the tip and it just lays a lot of color. So That's why I've saved them.
Yeah, no,
But
that's
you use
great.
them as regular watercolors, so that's why I love them. I have a box of these things to go around and keep my broken tips.
Well, why not? I mean, you need to be able to do the things you need to be able to do.
Oh yeah. Nico beat this the other day because I didn't pay attention to him. So
So he bit your tool. Yeah.
yeah, he beat my material. It's like, hey, I'm hungry. You're not paying attention.
Corbin
So
thought Corbin of late has thought it's fun to cut across my. I changed my direction of my desk. Right.
mhm.
Here, I'll show you. So, just gonna move the camera for a sec. I don't know. You can't even see me. It doesn't matter. No, it doesn't show me. Anyways, behind me now is the other wall in my studio. So there's like a couple of different poster images behind me.
Mhm.
And as opposed to seeing my shelves that have all my tools and things on them. And I switched it around because I need a little more room. And so Corbin lost all of this space that he had. And because of that, he has been unhappy and has been trying to cut across my desk all the time and knocking things out of his way, and he's clearly annoyed.
Yeah,
Where's
cats
my
are
room?
strange. Yeah. Let me put
So
this close so you can get to see. I'm going to use the pencil now because I was using like this from the tip.
yeah,
Um, I normally don't put a lot of pigment on the paper, so you barely see that I'm like having a little bit of color there on this
yeah.
side of the dress. But the beauty is once you activate them, you can build different layers.
Oh,
It's
wonderful.
semi-permanent. It's semi-permanent. So that's an advantage. It's not like watercolor that you go through these all over again and it will move the color all around.
Yeah.
Once it's dry, it doesn't move that much. The box says that it's permanent, but it's not.
No. It's with material with medium they can be permanent. But
Mhm. But I like them. I like these much better than watercolor. So, well, I don't
well,
have a good set of watercolor, so.
I kind of use everything, and like I'll use watercolor and inks in the same thing. There's no purity of medium to me. It's everything goes at any point in time. Like with this, I'm doing this watercolor lines in here, but I've also used pencil. I've also used this black pen. I'm going to use it again in a moment. Like there's no part of me that ever feels like I have to stick to a certain way or a
Oh,
certain
yeah.
tool to use.
Yeah, definitely. I don't have a good set of watercolors. I have a like very cheap Chinese one that is very chalky and it lays not very well, but well, it's good enough to practice. But certainly with my neighbor who is my student, we prefer to use this. She has
Yeah,
got the pastel set and she has got the 24 set,
wonderful.
and we're experimenting with using watercolor on first as a base layer, and then we use the Inktense to get some colors out. And we discovered that we are better at using Inktense. A lot of people get
Oh yeah,
traumatized because the moment it dries and there's a line or something that you just couldn't blend very well, it's going to stay there. You'll have to put a darker layer on top. But it's still fun to use this.
yeah. Well, you've got to give it a try, and see what you can do with it, and experiment, and figure out the light hold on them and the fastness of them and how they
Yeah,
retain any value over time. Like it's just all that experimentation, right?
that's right. I'm going to use one. I'm going to show you one that I don't know if you know. Have
Derwent.
you? Yeah, it's the same brand, Derwent, but it's
The only
graphite with ink.
This is the only Derwent thing that I have.
Okay.
But I got very excited the other day, and I found these. This is the Gold Faber from Faber-Castell or Faber-Castell pencils.
Those are good.
That is a pretty pencil.
Yeah,
You know,
that's
like
right. That's good.
I'm really smitten with the pencil. I also bought at the same time some Prismacolor. So
I love the Prismacolor white.
I
It's
go through
amazing.
I go through white quite a bit. So
I have a box of 12 Prismacolor white.
yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, let me show you this one. This one is very dull when you just use it like that. This is how it
Yeah,
looks on, this is regular paper, cardboard. So it looks quite dull, but you do exactly the same. You activate them.
yeah.
And this is, I think these tones are really, really good for mountains or kind of sad landscapes where
Oh yeah,
everything is
wonderful.
very cloudy. And I think I have an example here. I gifted this to myself. Oh my God. 15 years ago, more or less. I saw them in a store and I was like, oh, is that the complete set? And the lady told me, yes, that's the complete set.
Now,
Let me see if I
when you
have
gifted
them.
those, when you gifted those to yourself, did you wrap them up and surprise yourself with them?
No, that was going to be very ridiculous. I didn't do that. I cannot find it. Oh, well, kind of. This is I
Those are
remember I
lovely colors.
created, here it is. This is done with the graphite tint and the micron things.
Lovely.
So I was like, oh, there you go. So now we have another Nico portrait here.
You can't have enough
Really,
Nico
really like
portraits.
that.
You can't have enough portraits of the ones you love.
Yeah, I miss a portrait of Kika, definitely. But she's kind of difficult. You know, she's a beige tabby,
Yeah.
and all the stripes and all those details on her head are a little bit complicated to do.
Oh, sure.
So I have to really plan for her to be part of the portrait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dan says that's cool using the white pencil. I've wanted to see another person use them. Yeah, the white, good pencils and good paint markers and good, uh, tools that let you reduce back the, the marks that you put down and take them back into, um, push them back into the image. I love doing that. Oftentimes I'll add tints and shades at the very end, like I'll color an entire thing and then just come in with a white and a black and just go through and pick the values back out and find the soft lights, in the drawing that way, as opposed to trying to figure out blending all the individual colors. I'll just do it after I've laid all those colors in. So I'm putting my bride in now.
Very nice. Mine are micro people.
Yeah, but it works. It's all about how it works. So thanks for the compliments there. Yeah, that's very nice. I want to see what some of Dan's work here. I had the Comic Jam last night. It's an event that I run each month. I've been doing it since 2015, and it's all ages, but we got a lot of kids coming in, and so and with lots of questions, and it helps them with drawing fundamentals and things like that. So I've enjoyed it for some time. But
Okay.
here's another thing to try, Dan, I don't know if you've tried this. This is a China pencil. That's what it's called. China marker.
Is it
And
wax only?
it's just wax. And
Okay.
but you can get this really fun, highly fibrous, almost like a glowing white when you apply it into an image.
Mm.
You know, and it just sort of pops. Definitely something to take a look at. I've got these in a whole bunch of different. I've got them in the primaries: black, white, and green.
Yeah, those are cool. I experimented with a similar pencil like some months ago. Let me see if I can find that one. It's in another. I did this. I'm going
Oh,
to
wonderful!
use it to see if you can get to see it. The flowers, I think they're dandelions or I
Yeah,
don't remember.
they look great.
This is wax, and then
Yeah.
I use watercolor, Payne's gray, and then at the very end I use the white Prismacolor for
Oh,
it.
that's fantastic. That's
So I
fantastic.
think this was a nice experiment. I want to do it again with different colors.
This is a Winsor Newton white ink, and it's just a regular ink. It's not an acrylic ink. You know, like oftentimes you'll find that there's a real wonderful opacity you can get out of acrylic ink, but it's acrylic.
Hmm.
You can't reduce it back. It's always, once you put it down, it's like you've painted with acrylic, but it has the fluidity of ink. I like this Winsor white because it lets you do really fun things, like just taking a bit out with your brush, putting it on a surface, and then going through that surface with like a travel toothbrush.
Okay.
And then you can spatter your drawing with these little white flecks,
Hmm.
and I find things like that really compelling to me. So
Yeah, it's just experimenting with the material, and that's
yeah,
the fun part. How you can take something that is really traditional for some people and say, oh, this is how we use it all the time. And then you come and out of the blue, you tell them, hey, there's another way. You just have to think outside the box and just
yeah,
mix things until you find something that works. And then people will follow you in copying the technique or something like that.
yeah.
I still need to do. I need to experiment with jelly printing. That's something that I'm going to do these vacations.
Well,
I needed to set up everything to experiment with that.
my jelly printing is not very successful. Like, this is a brayer off page, and so when you do your jelly print and you transfer your jelly printed image, and you
Mhm.
take the excess paint off of the brayer, the roller, and on a piece of paper, I still draw, I still draw and paint on these. Like, I still use these
But
as
those
well.
sometimes those pages are really really nice. Like when you watch the ladies of PM Art Studio,
Yeah, they are
sometimes
fantastic.
in the chat they tell Patricia or Mariah, save that brayer off page, save it because now it's great, and then they do, and I'm like,
Oh, wonderful.
wow, it's cool. It's cool to watch them. They are I think the experts for me that I
Yeah,
follow in jelly printing. And but sometimes I find it overwhelming. It's like the detail
sure.
and perfection is like, oh my God, I'm going to do my first ones and they're going to be crap probably. But anyway, I will try. Who
Well,
knows?
that's the whole point. Just try. Don't worry too much about, and definitely don't compare yourself against the Joneses. They say, right? Like, don't worry about what the other person's doing.
Yeah, they have a lot of years of experience. And
Well,
Patricia was an art teacher for years.
whether they have that experience or not, they're not you. And there are things that you creatively are going to do that they would not. And it goes the same for Frank or Miriam or Dan. It's everybody is going to approach the same things or similar things in completely authentic and unique ways. Ideally, I say ideally because some people really have just an interest in copying, but
Mm-hmm.
because it's easier and they get more popular because look, another Batman. But if you take the time, if you take that moment to do your own authentic expression, people can tell.
Yeah, that's right. I found the butterflies that I mentioned yesterday when you were painting. Well, you were drawing with the ball pen.
Oh, let's see them. Here, you want me to make the screen a little bit? Have you got them there?
Let me just find them
Sure. Let me know
because
when you got
they're in this big binder. And oh well, here is
them.
one.
Hold on one sec. Lovely. That's really
There you
lovely.
go. This is ballpoint pen.
Good for you. That's great.
And I have these are bigger.
Nice.
I have this flower. I don't want to knock my camera off. I'm trying to be
No,
careful.
that's what you've got there is gorgeous.
And there's another one here.
Sure, please. Look at that.
Okay. This is graphite, by the way.
Nice.
So, but there you go. These are experimentations. So when I saw you using the pens, I was like, oh, I remember I used those some time ago.
Dan's wife said, beautiful work, Chris.
Oh, thank you very much, Dan. Now I need to get better to market my own work, you know.
Well, that's a trick for anyone, right? I mean, that's such a challenging thing for anybody to do. And honestly, a lot of creative types, we're not necessarily good at the marketing thing.
Hmm. I'm very bad, and I know that. But hopefully, in 2024, I'll continue with the wool thing, with the needle felting, and that will kick off more pet portraits, like the one I'm doing with Nico.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, I'm kind of trying to rely on uh, word by mouth. I don't know if that's
Yeah.
the correct expression.
Yeah.
And people
Word of mouth.
recommend like that.
I'm sorry, what was the last thing you said?
That I would like people to just recommend me like this
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
uh, word by mouth or yeah,
Word of, yeah. Word of mouth.
word of mouth. Okay, prepositions. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know my prepositions are bad sometimes.
No, you're doing
They
great.
have to be.
I think you do brilliantly at it. So
But it has helped me. The interaction with all of you who are like native speakers of the language. I pay attention to expressions and things like that, and then I go and reflect that in my classes. I try to use them, teach the students how to use them.
I
So
know that at times I use words that, like I'll say instead of, I'll say vernacular, and instead of language or words, I'll use a term like vernacular, like,
mhm.
and people will say, well, what does that I forget sometimes, and not everybody is first language English, and so I'll have people say, what the hell, what is that? I'm like, I'm sorry. So I try to simplify somewhat when I'm doing the streams because I often forget. I'm a big giant nerd, so when I was a young man, I read the dictionary. What a
Okay.
nerd! What a nerd!
I still have a big dictionary thesaurus
Yeah.
that it was a school. They gifted us this. It's like this thick.
Oh yeah.
I still have it. I will never get rid of that one. It's just
Good stuff.
beautiful thing. Well,
Miriam
this is
says
supposed to
it's
be
the
the
same
Pope.
word. What's that?
This is supposed to be the Pope marrying them.
Oh, there we
Because I
go.
mean, if they're going to have a wedding in space, the Pope was there, of course.
There's a thing here in some of the communities that have an awful lot of Italian or Portuguese families or descended families, where they'll have a religious reliquary in the backyard, and they'll have, or in their front yard, some of them, and they will have a pope or a bishop or a saint inside of a plastic dome, like a plastic. Uh,
Like what I'm doing here. Look.
yeah, like exactly like that, except for
Yeah.
it's far more closer in scale to them. Like it's just basically hugging the one that's inside, and it's funny when I was young. We used to, because I grew up and went to a Presbyterian church. We called those popes in a bottle.
Technically, that's what they are.
Yeah, yeah. But I never understood why they did it. A friend of mine that was Catholic, he told me when I was young, and he said, it's a Catholic thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
it is. There are a lot of saints in Catholic Church. Today is a big day in Mexico. Is the day of uh, Lady Guadalupe or Virgin Mary, but here was also called Señora de Guadalupe, Virgin Guadalupe. So
Wonderful.
there are no banks, no schools. I wanted
Oh,
to go and take my dad to have breakfast, and everything is closed. So we
oh,
ended up coming back and have breakfast here. And I'm going to try and take him out after we finish the stream to see if we can find a restaurant or something to eat out.
nice.
But it's considered a holiday.
Yeah.
And I mentioned in my last stream that is today is officially the first day of Christmas time for Mexico
Oh, okay.
until January the 6th. It's food and party and hanging out with friends, and it's the official time of what we call posadas. That is this party that is celebrated until, well, every day there is a party. It represents the days until Virgin Mary delivered baby Jesus. So
Wonderful.
a lot of people just go and party all the time.
Well, it's interesting how different cultures have different celebrations. Like in Iceland, they're the 13 lads, and what they are is it's 13 household spirits, and they appear one by one, starting with leading up to Christmas, the 13 days leading up to Christmas, and then the day after Christmas, they leave one by one.
Oh, okay. That's
It's like
interesting.
that's a
That's
long
interesting.
celebration, guys.
Further in the north in Mexico, they are a little bit more accustomed to American traditions.
Yeah.
So they have things like the elf on the shelf and things like
Oh
that.
yeah.
That is not common if you're traveling down, coming down, not that common. We do have Santa Claus in certain families.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a belief. But we also have January the 5th for the three wise men. In Spanish is Tres Reyes Magos, or the three kings.
Okay. Yeah.
And they are supposed to bring toys for the kids. And yeah, I remember that my dad was really, really nice in pretending that this was possible in our house, the two dates. One was for clothes, the 5 January the 5th,
Yeah.
and toys and everything was Santa Claus. So
Oh, I see. Okay.
it was kind of fun growing up in that kind of thing. But the majority of Mexican kids believe more in the three wise men, the three kings, which is nice.
That's great.
see. I'm very undecided what to do with the dresses of the people who are invited to the wedding. So I'm just tinting them
Well,
with colors,
if
combining
they're
both.
a bridal party, you got to put them in the ugliest dresses you can think of.
Yeah, they have to look different. Here's a tragedy, if a lady comes with the same dress as yours, it's a
On a
big,
wedding?
yeah, or prom. So the big holiday prom season, June
Yeah.
normally.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of ask the people in your room, the people from your class, like, what are you wearing? Where are you going to buy that? So they don't come with the same dress or color like you.
Yeah.
It,
When
it,
I
was-
was in the 1980s, when um, early 80s, when I was graduating grade school, everybody dressed like Don Johnson from Miami Vice.
yeah, he was popular here as well. That was one of the
Yeah.
TV series I remember it was popular.
Well, that's the funny thing. All of the TV shows that take place in Miami are all massively popular. Like Baywatch, Miami Vice, CSI. All of those shows are set in Miami, and they're just the most popular shows at the time.
Yeah, well, that's interesting,
Miriam
right?
says, in Argentina, kids left water, grass, and the shoes, so the kings bring them toys. Oh, that's really cool.
Oh, that's nice.
In Canada, we we have pretty much the same universal North American traditions as anybody else. We just do it in the snow.
Yeah, which
Except for
is
this year, it looks like it's going to be a green Christmas.
Oh, well, yesterday it was raining 24 hours, and
Oh,
today
yeah.
in the morning when I woke up, it was cloudy, and I said, no, another rainy day. Well, right now, the sky is almost clear.
Oh,
It's
wonderful.
unbelievable blue again.
Yeah, we've got a whole bunch of days of nice weather here right now, where it's only 8 degrees, 5 degrees, and so it's warm and walk around without a coat on and a jacket.
But you have less light hours, right? So the sun
Well,
goes down quite early, right?
oh, it goes down early, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to bring up the chicken, but I'm kind of a chicken. At the moment the sun goes down, I'm like, oh, I want to go to sleep.
Oh, yeah. There's a definite propensity for that. Like the weather change definitely makes people. Oh, that's it. Forget it. I'm going to bed. Okay, what have I got? I got a clarinet wedding.
Here the sun sets at around 6:15 p.m. I'm 1 hour less than you, by the way.
Yeah,
So you're
I
you're
don't.
you're probably 3:30. 2:30 right now.
It
So at
is
around
3:30 now.
6:15, we don't have any light anymore, and the sun comes up at around 7:10, more or less. So we have like 11 hours of light, which is
Okay,
good for winter.
I don't know what we have. I spend most of my time in my studio, and it's in. Lori is often coming to my window and opening it. Saying,
Okay.
"Would you let light in?" And I'm like, "I got a light on my desk."
Okay.
Hiding in the dark. Yeah, I do most of my stuff in with the single lamp, and I do all these crazy bright colors and things. But I'm always just using a single lamp on my desk.
But you have a very good lamp because I don't have a very good lamp to work at night, for example. I prefer using sunlight
Yeah.
most of the time.
Oh, this is just a $5 lamp I have. The one that I'm using. It's not a very good lamp at all. It just it works enough.
Yeah, but if the light is white, I think that's fine,
Yeah,
right?
that's the white light. It's the white light that counts, right? Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah. Here it's very difficult to get white light. It's more expensive. The light bulbs are more expensive. So we
Yeah.
normally have this kind of warm light that is a little bit yellowish. So that's why I don't like drawing after the sun sets. It's like, no, it's not going to give me the same um, color that I want.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And well, and since I have had eye problems and retina problems since
Oh my.
1999, then I normally don't work with artificial light.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I got clear last Saturday. My doctor will see me again on May 11 next year.
I did my physical this morning at the doctor's, and everything looks good. Everything is doing good.
Great.
It's a nice feeling when you come out and the doctor's like, okay, you're good. Things are clear.
Yeah, that's right. When they tell you everything is fine, it's good.
Yeah, it's exciting that I find. So now I'm drawing in the couple about to have the romantic kiss moment, and I'm montaging this into the existing image that's here. I'm just sort of superimposing each image as it moves along on the page. And so as I'm drawing this couple now, uh, what I thought was I'll have the clarinet playing the romantic, hey, they're going to get married. And then it moves over to the couple. And as they're about to lean in for that kiss, they're going to get rained on with cats and cats.
Yeah, I will not use the cat there. It kind of terrifies me having a cat in space.
Well, yeah,
And
of course, but
what
that's
if they
kind of,
conquer the world?
but it works for the story.
Let me see. I'm trying to find a nice brush.
It's when they bring a student in with
Um,
them into the doctor's office and to reinforce the medical text pictures. I don't allow students in when with me if I'm. Well, I have a private, like I see a personal doctor in a doctor's practice, and I've been with her for a long time. But she doesn't do students in her office. But when I've had to go in to the hospital and do tests and things because of the nervous system disorder that I have. And they're like, "Can a student come in with us?" I'm like, "No." Every
hmm,
single
okay.
no. Get out of here. Go on. Come back and see me when you're a real doctor. I just,
Well, yeah,
I just not. You're not at the hospital because you know, you're there because you have to be there. You're not there because you want to
that's right.
be a guinea pig or whatever.
Well, that happened to me. I wasn't like the best eye surgery hospital in Mexico because it gets information from all over the world. But
Yeah.
it's a student hospital
Oh,
for
I see.
future eye doctors. So whenever I was having my whatever operation or checks or something, you had the main doctor, the professional, the one who was there monitoring the students, and I'm like, oh no, please, I don't want the student to handle my eyes
Yeah, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
or to give me drops or something, because they just, instead of just being careful putting the eye drop, they just like squirt everything inside your eye, and that really hurts that a lot.
Yeah.
So it left me traumatized,
Oh
literally.
no. I'm sorry you went through that.
Yeah, now if I have, well, I have two eye drops that I have to use. So I have the two small containers, and I'm just very carefully putting the drop inside my eye, and it's like, ah, that's good, it's fine. But whenever I go to visit my doctor, she already knows, so she knows to be very careful with me because I get really, really not hysterical, but I get very nervous.
Oh, sure. Do
So
you want to hear a terrible thing I do to people? This is absolutely horrible, and you're not gonna like me after this. Are you ready?
okay.
When I have to get regular blood tests because I'm a type 1 diabetic, brittle diabetic, and because there's fluctuations in my blood sugar and if I'm exerting myself in any way or even just thinking too much, right?
Hmm.
And so I have to go and get blood regularly done just to make sure that all my liver, kidney, everything else is still functioning okay. And I always tell the person, goes, okay, we all set? I went, please be careful. I'm afraid of needles. And the terrible part of that is I have 4 needles a day.
Oh
So,
my.
and I still do it every time. I still go, please be careful. I'm afraid of needles. And I go, really? No, no, I'm not.
Oh my.
But they look at me for a moment like, how can this guy be afraid of? Anyways,
Well, it could happen.
it could happen. This guy's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, I'm still afraid of needles despite the needle felting.
Oh, well, there you go. Yeah, that's right.
I want to stop myself. That would be
My,
very, very, very bad if I do that.
oh, yeah. Like if my grandson, my one grandson, Jay, if he's in the room and I say, okay, buddy, I just got to take my insulin because he'll come in my studio or something like that. And I'll be, I just got to take my insulin. He goes, I'll be out there. Like he just walks away.
Okay. I would walk away definitely.
He doesn't
I
want to
can
see that.
I cannot watch that. I just can't.
Well, he gets bothered because I'll be talking to him while I'm doing it. He's like, oh, you're talking while you're doing. I'm like, anything that people do on a regular basis, they just get used to and they don't think about, you know.
Hmm. That's right. You get used to things and then you don't think about them anymore because they are just a habit already. They're
Yeah.
kind of regular. This is kind of interesting scene of the people floating in space, getting married.
I'll try something. So this is going to take.
I
No.
don't have here. I'm going to improvise a water bottle
Oh, there you go.
somehow. I'll put it close to the camera later on. Let me just find a
That's
container.
looking great.
Here. Talking about spray, I took up the lid of my spray bottle.
Oh,
Now it's a water container. No
yeah.
big deal. Well, we have to improvise.
Yeah.
I have to change brush because this was just too thick. And interesting because, I don't like space that much. I remember growing up watching these science fiction movies, except for Star Wars, but like these disaster movies in space.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was really terrified. Oh, the astronaut disconnected from the spaceship and now he's
Oh,
floating
no.
away and he's going to die. And oh, that was so horrible. So I
Well,
don't like
because
painting a space that much.
probably because you're an empathic person and at the same time a highly creative and imaginative person. So this is a thing that many others don't think of is that when some of us see those things, we hold on to them. Like,
Mhm.
we think far more about, oh my goodness, what would that be like losing, dying with no breath in outer space? And we just, we assess it in different ways. And
Yeah.
so it's bad. It's not good for us sometimes to, the horror movies or whatever else. And other people are like, that's fine. I watch a horror movie since I was 5. It's like, oh, not
Yeah, I
me.
just couldn't
I
watch a
think too
lot of
much.
movies. Like,
Like,
for
I think,
example, oh, sorry,
no, go ahead.
Space Odyssey, like
Yeah,
2001. I
brilliant.
couldn't watch that movie for a long time. I saw it when I was very young and I was traumatized.
Is
The
that right?
robot was very scary.
Yeah, it's that's one of my favorite films of all time. As that or well, I mean that one alone is highly impactful. But the
Yeah.
scariest movie to me is The Shining by Stanley Kubrick because
That's yeah, it's still something that I think I've seen it twice,
yeah,
and no, it's just something that
well,
it's
because
really
it's real. The psychology of it is just it's so on the nose. You get the feeling that this person's mind is disintegrating, and his poor family that are there with him. And but there's a beautiful thing that if you look at it as what you're watching is Jack's book
hmm.
instead of you're watching it, that's what's actually happening to Jack and Wendy and Danny.
Okay. Uh-huh.
But when you watch that movie, if you watch it as though you're watching the book that Jack has been writing,
Hmm.
it changes it entirely. Like when you think of it in the context that as the father is in the one hall there writing his novel, there's a point where the film switches over to us watching his novel.
Yeah,
So,
but
and
still
it's
very frightening, the scenes
oh
of the
sure it is,
boy
but
going through these hotel, and then you're literally riding with him, and you don't know exactly what you're going to find when he turns.
that's one of the first films of Steadicam, The Shining. It's one of the first films that uses the steady camera, where a person who's like my size can run around holding that camera rig, and so they can go places that normal cameras can't. It's kind of interesting.
There is a documentary, not on this film, but Pixar's,
Yeah.
and it's on Netflix, but I don't know if you have it available on Netflix Canada.
What's it called?
It's Pixar Behind Doors, I think,
Oh
something
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
yes, yeah, yeah.
It's beautiful how you get to see all the things they have to prepare behind the scenes for each movie and the characters and everything that they do. And one of my favorite episodes was the cafeteria.
Is that right?
They interview the chef, and the chef has to create dishes based on the movies. So
Oh,
they
that's
have
fun.
dishes with the names of, for example, Cars or Monsters Inc. or something like that. And when I saw that, was like, wow! Even in small parts like restaurants, in those places, they have to be creative.
Oh, sure. It's an environment like a creative environment often invites more open creativity all around it, right?
Yeah, that's right. So if anybody listening wants to do a marathon of Pixar Behind Doors, go ahead because it's really, really enriching. You get to learn a lot of the processes. And there's an episode with cameras, how they program the cameras. And depending on the movie, is how they set up the camera.
Yeah.
So they can replicate any camera, the Steadicam, the flying one,
Oh,
any
sure.
angle that you want.
I'll show you something fun in a second. Um, this isn't. like I have a number of books on, Sesame Street, the Muppets, the Warner Brothers animations, the Hanna-Barbera animations. I have a number of these books that talk all about process,
Mm-hmm.
just because it's a thing that I love. But this, I'll show you one that to me is just such a departure from those, because it's something that I don't do. And see where I've got it here. Just a sec. Oh, I think it's I think it's over there. Just be 1 second.
Okay. I think I'm going
So
to
this
check.
is, okay, I'll show you 2 crazy things. All right. And one is a book that I bought called, hold on, let me switch the camera for 1 second. And okay, so the one book is called Inside the Sideshow Studio. And this is a book all about a studio that produces collector's models.
Wow. So
And
cool.
so it walks you through, see, they show a picture of their environment.
Mm-hmm.
But it walks you through the stages of production. And it shows you all the photos of the place. Like, this is the place,
Oh, it looks so nice.
right? And then studios upstairs. But, it's like a train station when you come in. Immediately, there's statues all around. It says Funhouse.
Yeah, it has kind of this horror house feel.
Yeah. Well, the first department is where they make 3D wax carvings of the statues. And look at this person's desk,
Oh, that's a dream desk for me.
right? He's got a painting of Napoleon crossing the Alps above his desk.
Okay. That gremlin there in the corner is scary.
That's from Ghostbusters.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah. So here's another person's studio. And so then it goes through the painting department and all of the different paints that they use. Every surface is covered in paint. Every
Yeah,
surface.
but they are so handy. So you're like, oh, I need to create this effect. Oh, let me grab this.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fantastic.
But it shows you some of the materials that they use and the little containers they make to keep their paints fresh and going.
Mm-hmm.
Process. There's a billet in here that actually has the color palette for this statue to paint. And then there's the cut and sew for the fabric department that puts capes and things on the statues.
Oh my.
Right? So there's seams, seams in the clothing and all these little pieces, these patterns that they use. It's and there's another one for a cape, but there's pictures of this department here. And so anyhow, then it goes through the department that takes photography of the statues for promotion. There's the photo studio department, and they'll put it in front of a backdrop so it looks like the Indiana Jones is in a cave, or they'll do turnarounds of the statue, the models in the camera.
They look so great.
It's so, and then there's customer service and all the offices covered in statues and all the collectibles. And then there's the boardroom. What a place.
Yeah, if you're a creative, that's definitely an ideal place to work.
Oh,
There's inspiration
right.
everywhere.
Like this is the warehouse.
Oh, wow.
New heads in case we have to replace heads from boxes. Like, and then they get into the action figures, the sixth scale. They're basically like Barbies of Star Wars and Batman and like I'll show you something else in just a second. And then there's the multimedia, so that the places where they're making
Wow.
the commercials and the trailers for these things. There's just such a wealth of imagery. And then they get into the process of actually making the statue. There's the sculpting, the molding, and the casting, and all of the containers that they put the molds into. So, and the pieces and the parts.
Oh, it's amazing process.
Right? And then there's the graphics departments where they're designing the boxes and the packaging and the look of things. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, like there's a box breakdown for this Wonder Woman box of a statue. It's so, and then there's your design and development. So this is their sort of permanent collection and crazy inspiration spaces in the offices. Skulls and things for them to reference, and then there's the office of the creative director. That is the craziest office ever.
Oh my God. Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah. What a collection of things.
Yeah, that's right. It's like a museum itself of
Yeah.
the things they have.
So isn't that something?
It is. That
Yeah.
would be
And
so
then
cool.
the other thing to show you is the other sideshow book I have. And this is all sideshow statues and action figures
Oh my
of
God.
Star Wars characters only. And the photographs that they take for it. Like that's a toy, a Barbie version toy of Ben Kenobi on
Mm.
Tatooine. And they've shot a photo of it so it looks like it's from the film.
Wow.
So when Dee Dee talks about her Barbie photography, I'm like, I'm gonna book on, Barbie photography.
Yeah, that's right.
Those are
Yeah.
that's all dolls,
Unbelievable.
right?
It's like
And
watching the actors in the movie.
I see how they adjust the lighting so there's a red tone on these two back here to push them into the background,
Yeah.
and so it just shows all of these fine statues and action figures. Like that's not the film, that's the toy. Here's all the parts you get with it.
Oh my God.
And there's your Luke. See all the different heads?
Yeah. Oh, that figure is awesome.
So all of these things, they did Jabba.
Oh, that's great. That's so cool.
But this is photography of all of these figurines and all of these things that they've done.
Oh, Han Solo in the
And the
I
carbon,
forgot how it was called. Yeah, that one.
yeah.
I literally cried when that movie came out and we
Oh
didn't
yeah.
know if he was going to survive and said,
Oh, of
no,
course we
come
did. We
on.
were kids. But there's so many. This book is this thick,
Yeah.
and it's just all these different clone troopers and all the sculptures for them, and there's Greedo, and the wanted poster for Han Solo, and the scenes that they've made out of action figures.
Yeah, and especially what it's amazing is that they have figures of characters that maybe they were 1 second on screen,
I,
and
I
there they
still got
are.
that. There's still that much of the book left.
Wow.
Like it's really crazy, but it's absolutely wonderful. Like they've got. I'll just fan through it. So these are the statues now, and so the statues are just as good as the action figures.
Sure, they look amazing.
Like, look at that's a statue.
Look at the detail. Wow.
There's pewter figures of Luke and Leia. Or bronze, I'm sorry, that's a bronze. There's Darth Maul and Boba Fett, and these are all bronze statues. And like those scenes where they're fighting. This is my favorite one of those.
Okay.
Anyhow, that's the whole book is this, and all of the process along the way, you know. So it's a huge book.
Amazing.
But I just thought you might get a kick out of those because I mean that's a whole different level.
Yeah, of course, definitely. It's not just the production, it's the shooting, it's the lighting, is everything there.
There's so many artisans involved in this. Like there are so many artists that are involved in the whole, you know, process of creating, you know, not just the toys, but the marketing and the, you know, and the every little single facet of it is just wonderful. And I think that they do it so well. I can't now. These statues are very expensive. They're not inexpensive at all. And
They should be.
what's that?
They should be very expensive.
Oh, yeah, we're thousands of dollars. But
The regular figure is expensive.
the
Now
regular
imagine.
a regular
Yeah.
figure is about 150, 200, 300, $400 just for the
Oh my God.
figures. Oh yeah, yeah, they're crazy. They're premier collectibles. I don't own any of those things, but I have a book with all of them in it. So
Well, that's worth it. Yeah.
that's the same thing.
I collected some marble figures. I have
Wonderful.
some, but I normally hunted them in stores when there was a discount.
Yeah.
I need to clean them up. But I'm going to show you some of the favorites that I have. Let me see. I have the very cheap ones that are no more than probably $10.
Yeah. Great.
So you have these ones. Oh, let me move the wedding so it doesn't interfere with figures. So, and these are small. But then I have the ones that are around $40,
Oh my.
more or less. So
Oh
from the
yeah.
first Loki. So these ones are cool because they are somehow articulated.
Oh yeah.
So this is cool.
So
But
the
my two favorites are these.
Mystique.
The stick, fully articulated. It has got different hands and
All very cool.
everything. And of course, the Black Widow,
Oh nice.
also fully articulated. I keep them on a shelf behind me. And this was the last one that I bought
Oh, there you go.
because I didn't like this one that much. It's the cheap one
No,
versus the
it's fancier.
and it's got another head, of course, with a helmet and another hand like this. But there you go.
I'll show you a silly. This is a collectible that I really enjoy. I have the entire Muppet Band.
No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Like I'll just pull Floyd over. Like this is Floyd. Hey man, how's it going?
Oh my God, that's cute.
And they're all posable, and all their arms and hands move, and the guitar comes off, and they got microphones and and amplifiers, and Animal has his full drum set, and Dr. Teeth. But I
Oh, wow.
collect them. I collect the Muppets,
That's
and like
great.
I have. Hey man, how's it going? Look at the size of him.
Oh my, that's
It's
really
the
big.
8 foot. It's the 8 foot tall guy. Right
Oh,
on.
but those are very cool characters.
Yeah, the last one I'll show you is going to be tricky. Let me see. This is Statler and Waldorf
Oh no.
in the balcony, and you can pose them and move them around, and they each have their own chairs, and
Wow. That's
yeah.
a great collection.
So this is the silly stuff that I have in my studio. Like I also have this. Pinky in the Brain in a birdcage.
Oh my.
So it's silly things that I collect, and then stuff from the '70s from growing up, like the Black Hole movie. I have the action figures from that, or I've got Rolf the dog, and
Oh,
my
that's nice.
studio is really a strange place of odd collectibles, and you know it's a lot of fun. Like here's an absolutely beautiful sculpt of Gandalf from Lord of the Rings.
Wow. Oh, that's
That
very nice. The
it's
details.
so lovely. He has a butterfly,
Yeah.
and he has his
That's
pipe sticking out of the stick or the cane.
yeah.
He keeps his pipe in the cane. But it's things like that just they're inspiring.
Yeah, of
It's,
course.
and it's fun to have these around because they sort of they charge you up, they give you some energy for whatever you're working on.
That's right. I cannot show you right now, but I have a collection of Playmobil
Oh,
or
wonderful.
Playmobil. I don't know how it's
No,
pronounced.
that's
And
that's great stuff. We still have those in our house for the grandkids to play with.
oh yeah, I have Noah's Ark.
Oh, that's awesome.
And later on, I was able to get other animals,
Oh, that's so good.
and I just love that. It's one of my favorite things. But yeah, I have to keep them in boxes because this is bedroom studio, so I have
Yeah.
to take some things out and then use them and then put them back in boxes and so on. But I stopped collecting them because I don't have space.
Yeah, I understand that.
So as soon as I have like a bigger house or something, I'll
Yeah.
probably display some of those.
It's interesting, artist studios, because there's so many things that you wouldn't expect in many creators' spaces. And Miriam's saying we're funny, we're very silly.
Well, yeah, we collect a lot of things, and I didn't show you all of them, but I have Captain America, I
Oh
have
my
Shield,
goodness!
I have
Yeah.
Thor. Well, I have two Captains America. I have Magneto. Um, forgot the name of this guy, Doctor Xavier.
Oh yeah,
Wolverine. I have Iron Man. I have Ronin. I have
you really like those movies.
Marvel. And that's the space that I have. So I don't have any more space, so no more figures.
You really like those films, eh?
I'm a fan of X-Men, so
There you
and
go.
maybe a lot of people don't like the movies with these actors that were in the 2000s, but I
Oh,
think
they're
they're
fine.
good.
Yeah, they're
They
fine. They're
entertain me.
good. I think people get too worked up about these films, and they want them to be certain ways, but they don't realize that they have to allow the creators to create.
Yeah, and you cannot be 100% based on a comic because you have to think that these stories need to go for people who maybe don't know the comics and they will have to change a lot of things to make them understand things. But it's like Harry Potter, right?
Yeah.
I read the books. I read all the books because my sister is a fan. My youngest sister is a fan, so she was buying the books as they were published. So
Yeah.
I read the books before the movies, and yeah, of course, it was a shock to see the movie. Uh, and we were like, "Oh, but that didn't show, and it was in the book, and it was important, right?" But now, I really don't care. I just enjoy the movies. No
Yeah.
big deal.
I'm disappointed that they're not going to finish the Newt Scamander series because
Yeah,
they can't because they hired these actors that are not the greatest people. And like this Ezra Miller guy, I'm really happy that that movie didn't do well in theaters, the Flash movie,
yeah, I haven't seen it even.
because
I know.
that's the guy who kidnapped a 14-year-old girl
Yeah.
from her parents and went on the run to like another. He went on the run to Hollywood or not Hollywood, Hawaii, and they were like texting her parents, ha ha ha, you know.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And then they released the movie he's in. It's like, what's the matter with you? You know,
Yeah.
mind you, they
That's
spent
that's that's
millions of
sad.
dollars, but so I think a lot of people boycotted it.
Yeah, and it was interesting. I kind of like the Snyder version of the Justice League,
Yeah,
especially his version. I know it's like 4 hours or something like that, so I normally watch an hour, do something else, and continue.
yeah,
But I like that version because it gave a backstory of Cyborg and Flash.
yeah.
In the commercial version, you didn't get that.
Oh, I see.
So
Okay.
you didn't know why Victor was so bitter. And when you see the background of his story, it's like, oh, now we know why
Yeah.
he was like that.
The Zack Snyder put a proposal in for Star Wars to do Star
Oh,
Wars,
really?
and they chose that dumpster fire that was J.J. Abrams instead. And
Not good.
so he has taken it and made it into a new show. And so on December 21st, 7 p.m. on Netflix is when you can see Rebel Moon. And it's Zack Snyder's, what Zack Snyder's would have done to Star Wars if he had a chance. But he's made all the characters given all the characters different names and changed it a little bit. But this film series is what would have been his trilogy for Star Wars.
Wow.
It's look up the trailers for it. Rebel Moon. It looks amazing.
Yeah. Well, I just miss to do some details with the capsules and, of course, the stars and galaxies and everything. But
It's
this is
looking
my
absolutely.
floating wedding.
Hold on one sec. This is looking wonderful.
This is my floating wedding. I need to work a little bit with the reflection of what they can see on the other side, but
Four
probably do
guests.
that later
That's all
on.
you get. You only get four witnesses. There's
Yeah,
not there's not a lot of room and space.
exactly. It's very expensive, and the Pope was already expensive enough. So
That looks so good.
that's
This is
why they don't get more. They don't get more guests.
Hi Beth, how are you? Beth
So,
Schuler has joined us. So this is the
hi
what I
there.
came up with. This is how far I am now. So I'll put up the suggestions again for everybody. But this is the one-page story I'm doing. There's somebody playing the Kenny G clarinet, and then here's the couple for the photo shoot, and here's the shot of the two of them up close that I'm painting in now. And so I've got clarinet and wedding. So we're picking three prompts off the list, right? Clarinet and wedding. And then the next one that I'm going to use isn't space. The next one I'm going to use is raining cats and cats.
Yeah, that's I think it's going to look nice. It's what I like is the texture of your paper, how it brings out like plants or greenery or something behind the bride and the
Well,
groom.
that's the fun thing about this sort of a surface, and it's so destabilized with so many values in it, with this
Yeah.
green peeking through, and and then I've got the tape down, which gives a fibrousness to it as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that when I come in and add some more textures and values, and I'm sorry it's a little out of focus, but it's an inexpensive camera. Maybe I should just get a new camera with my birthday money. Um, I
Okay.
think that's really what I should do. So that when it scans, oh, and Miriam just said, oh, Beth says leaning in for kiss. Yeah, there they are. And then going to scan. Yeah, so when it scans, it'll pick up all the granular texture from the pencil, from the wax
Mhm.
pencil, and it'll pick up all this little spattering of paint and throughout here, and hopefully some of the different values in her dress. But I like to let some of this texture and some of the surface peek through. Like that's what this is it
Yeah,
the
that's right.
background peeking through. And I find that, it's almost like half of your work for the coloring is done by the background,
Yeah.
technically. But, so that's coming along. Okay, I'll put up the words for people. So anybody that's interested in using any of these prompts, there's raining cats and cats, which is wonderful. And then there's clarinet, wedding, and space. And then the last one is hippity. How many P's are in hippity? Hippity hop, the 60s, 70s toy. So
Okay.
these are the suggestions that came in today. I'll put them on the screen. Um, so if anybody wants to screen cap that or whatever they want to do, there's these are the suggestions that came in. So you can pick any three of these: raining cats and cats, wedding, hippity hop, or clarinet, hippity hop, and space, whatever it is, and do a page. Try to do a page of art, whether it's a story page like I do each day, or whether it's a static image or a
Hmm.
simple image with text. Hippy hoppy. Is hippity hop wrong, Beth? Is it hippy hoppy? Um, it's this. The suggestion was hippity hop, so maybe hippy hoppy is what it was called. I'm not sure. If Dan is still here, it was Dan's suggestion there. But feel free, anyone, to use these and to do your own. And you're more than welcome. And I'll try to present them here on the stream. If anybody sends any in, I'll present them on the stream if people send me an image of that, so that I want to start showcasing pages that other people are doing.
Oh,
I
that's a
want to
great
start
idea.
Well, because the whole process of engagement and interaction with each other is so encouraging to me that
Mhm.
I want to share that. I want to share and promote that with others. So, but this has been a lot of fun having you on today, Chris.
Oh, likewise. I always enjoy streaming in collaboration.
Oh yes, it's
I think I do
wonderful.
better in collaboration than alone,
Do you think
but
so?
sometimes I do because I normally go silent when I'm just drawing and things like that, and I feel a little bit awkward when I'm like streaming by myself. It's
Yeah.
like talking
Oh
to air, you know. I know that I have viewers, but um, sometimes the interaction or the delay, it's not so immediate. So I don't know if that still, I still feel a little bit strange with the delay.
no, sure. I think everyone does. It's a challenge because you're trying to do. There's multiple parts of your brain at work at once because you're creating something, you're talking to people, and then at the same time, it's like you're trying to engage with what others are saying and all of those processes, and it's so many things compounded on one another that they can make one or all of them suffer. So Miriam has already posted hers.
Oh,
I'm
great.
excited to see that, Miriam. Did you DM it to me?
Probably Instagram.
Oh, she put it. She mentioned it in the post. Awesome. Yeah, I'm looking forward to. There we go. Look at that.
Nice,
Last week
Miriam.
I had a gig, an outside wedding,
Great.
but it was canceled. Why was it canceled, Miriam?
Tragedy.
Oh no. It was raining cats and cats. Is there a little piece at the bottom still?
Yeah.
Raining cats and cats. That's
I love it.
wonderful, Miriam. That's so great. Yeah. So anybody else that wants to take a crack at doing one with these suggestions? And I always say that about any of the suggested ideas that I get that I do each day. If anybody sees any of those that wants to take a crack at it, and from what what they would come up with as well, you're always welcome to do so. There's no part of me that's like, this is my thing. Please, it's going to be wonderful. It's just because it's always authentically you. So
Yeah, exactly. Different interpretations of the same words is always interesting to see.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And at the same time, there's the stylistic thing that goes on, and then there's that your own personal perspective is always going to be askew from whatever crazy thoughts are going through my noggin. So
That's right.
that's lovely. Okay, well, I have to get wrapping it up here because it's around that time where I got to go and do stuff, and I
Yeah, I
appreciate
have to
so
go and
much.
take my dad to eat something.
Oh, well, there you go.
We're going to have lunch.
I appreciate you being on today. I appreciate everybody coming out. I hope you guys all had fun. I know I did. And thank you once again, Chris. And there's still more time in the month here that you've got off. If you feel like doing something else again, I'm always open to that for sure.
Excellent.
It's nice
We'll
having
see
guests.
about that.
I have to do so.
Okay.
I got to get together with Miriam again soon too, because that was fun as well.
That's right. Thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you for being on. That was great. If anybody wants to go and check out Chris's work and Chris's YouTube and Chris's Instagram, I've put those in the comments for the video down below. And so you can go and when the YouTube video posts, you can check those out there. But please take a look at work. It's fantastic. And I'm always interested in what you're working on next. The tiger pieces. It's a tiger, right?
Yeah, it's a tiger.
I always confuse tigers and leopards. That's why I ask. But the tiger piece is wonderful.
Yeah, that's in process.
Yeah. So it'd be fun for anybody who wants to watch you along the way the way of your process there. So I think I'm gonna sign off. But don't forget that I'll be back tomorrow, 2 p.m. EST. And,
Great.
we'll be having a lot of fun. Aha!
Oh, that's cool.
I'm a giant child. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Chris. I'll see you guys if you're up for it tomorrow at 2 p.m. In the meantime, be well. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone.